We're about to do the first take. Such a rush. I dig it.
I don't know how we're gonna get through today.
Welcome to day one. Camera speed. Yes.
This is the official series of making a short film on film. My short film, which is called Lone Mountain. It's a period film that kind of has a psychological sci-fi twist to it. So it's a story I've been working on for the last 6 years of my life. It's been a dream of mine to shoot on film. It's always been a dream of my brother's, who was the DP of this film.
We had both always expressed to each other that when we had an opportunity to shoot on film, we were going to seize that opportunity. And so when we won this film grant, that was the first thing that we, talked with each other. We didn't know any of the other logistics. We just knew that shooting on film was something that we really wanted to do.
This series actually came from my buddy Travis, who's a producer on this film and kind of acted as our key grip and also our behind the scenes shooter to do a lot of the BTS to get what you'll see in these videos. I'm so glad he suggested it because I was so focused on getting the project done that I didn't even think about this being an opportunity for other filmmakers, for other film enthusiasts, other storytellers and artists to see our struggles, our victories, to come along with us in the process. So what I hope this will be kind of recounting the day, and I decided to break these videos down by each day. So we shot for 4 days. It was a 4-day production for the short film. And there were a lot of crazy things that happened throughout the different days of shooting. So let's just roll the video.
A couple weeks before we started filming, I ordered from Kodak 5 rolls of film stock. It was 4 250Ds and 1 500T. They said, yeah, this order should come through. It should be there in time. A couple weeks went by and the film still hadn't arrived at Tanner's door.
But luckily had the 4 rolls of 400 feet, 2,000 feet essentially total of the free film I picked up when I picked up the kit in Kodak. So we were nervous. We had enough film like we planned on, but we were hoping to double that film.
That drive up to Montana was super nerve-wracking. Just a lot of the unknowns, working on a format that I'd never worked on before, had very limited experience with this camera, had not a lot of experience with working with crew teams. This was a production that had people's money at stake, and we had a very short window to capture the entire film, and we had a lot to get.
It was a stressful drive, I'll just say. When you're literally the night before, you're going to be shooting this thing, and you have people there ready to look at you and know what setups and how you're going to do the day, and you don't have your shot list 100% fleshed out yet, is really scary.
And what we saw really quickly is it was like an endless list, and we had 4 days to get the entire film. And so me and Tanner looked at that and we thought, I don't think there's any way that we're going to be able to get the film how it is here. Like, if we want this film to have any lighting involved, if we want this film to actually have some setups and allow actors, crew members to breathe, within these 4 days, this just isn't going to be possible.
Our script was not locked down earlier when we were getting past pre-production and getting things done. And my producer, Derek, and co-writer, he kind of kept pushing to finish the story, make sure it's rock solid. When you push back your script getting locked down and you're only a couple weeks out, you have to kind of scramble to get your shot list, to get your storyboards. So we were struggling to figure out how many shots we had.
So he's here, you're behind me, and it's like splash, and we are behind him, and maybe we're cheating the camera a little bit like this.
Oh yes, okay, I remember.
And I think what we talked about is he actually at that point stands up. So we're about right here. We're coming in from sort of like a medium wide up to the medium. And he wipes his head, and he picks up the thing, and he looks.
Oh wow, so, okay, I like that. And then you're gonna do an insert of him head in the water. 2 shots?
2 shots.
I like that. Write that down.
Our 40 plus shots for the first day's scenes, it was not going to work. And so we had to be creative very quickly. Before we even got to set, we had to drop a lot of shots that we had in mind in a lot of ways we wanted to shoot these scenes.
Throw out, and then it's like, bam, and then, so it was a cut of throwing it down, and then we got to pull back wide at that moment. So
we had a scene that had 10 shots in it, and we ended up having to drop it and say, we can do this in 2. We have to do this in 2. And I was kind of wearing my producer hat more than I was my director hat because I was okay with that. Most directors would probably be pissed at the idea of cutting down the shot list like that. We had Ricky Watanabe, who was going to be our AC and kind of play as a swing a little bit, but he was the only camera assistant that we had for Alex, so he had studied up, relentlessly on everything he could about the SR2. Honestly, for me, what I was most interested in was actually not just to focus so much on like the administration of the day and the schedule and all that. Like I had Derek as the AD, the assistant director, to do all that and deal with that. I did have to worry about building chemistry and with my main actor, not just to convey my ideas or my vision or what I was thinking about for the character, more importantly to see how he works, how he operates. He knows his craft, and I just wanted to be sure that I came in, I didn't disrupt that process for him. So I was gonna let him do his thing. I was gonna let him to do his role that I casted him to do. It's always a moment of like, you're kind of meeting, it's like you go on a first date and you're excited, but you're a little bit nervous about it. It was really nice to just kind of go out in the hallway and just the two of us chat. And it was probably only about a 10-minute conversation, if I remember correctly, but it was probably the most essential 10 minutes I was able to have on the entire film shoot. So essentially our plan of attack was basically we were shooting in one location. We had 11 scenes to shoot. We only had one actor that was going to be there on day one. It was Dave, our lead, kind of lost in the woods, and he's looking to return back to his homestead. And so we're kind of shooting this campsite he keeps coming to again and again, and it's kind of in a time loop. So the majority of that process and that progress was going to be shot on day one. So it was a very important day. Not a lot of complex shots, but just a lot of shots that were important to the story. We went from 40 to 28 shots. So we had to get there at about 7 o'clock, if I remember, was call time. So we missed that big time. We were 7 o'clock. I remember I was kind of looking around ready to go, and the majority of people were still loading up the gear. Our grip truck was getting loaded up, and we were running behind already. I was the first one leading the way with Alex, and he had his camera. We kind of just hauled butt down the highway to get to our location where we were going to be shooting the first shot. Before we even arrived to set, one of the worst possible things that could happen happened. There was, to put in perspective, the bridge was out. So the way my map led me to the location, it led me the wrong way to where the bridge was out. And so we had to turn around and come back the way. And I was probably 3 or 4 minutes ahead of everyone else. And we run into the grip truck. Laura down my window and said, hey, we went the wrong way. We got to go back around and go further down and then come up the other side of where that river is. I kind of just sped off after I'd let him know that. And there was the grip truck. We had all the gear. And then behind the grip truck, we had Travis, our producer. His car, his production van that he has for his own business was right behind him. And I kind of stopped him. So the grip truck stopped quickly. And then Travis stopped quickly behind him. So he was kind of closer to him than he probably should have been. I kind of drive behind the two. And at that moment in time, I hear beep, beep, beep. I hear Travis lay on his horn as loud as you possibly can, or maybe a second or so before you hear a huge crash.
And then I just remember looking to Tanner. I didn't look back. I looked to Tanner, and Tanner immediately whipped his head back to see what happened. And he just, his gaze was like, oh, shoot. Here we are with the camera coming on our first shoot. Okay, Tanner, tell us what's up.
So before we even get to set, we have an accident.
Yeah,
on the set.
Travis's hood is pretty busted.
It's luckily it's just the hood, it looks like, but it's crinkled back.
It's gonna, yeah.
Hey, look, his car's driving. Travis is driving, and he's behind us.
Yeah, but we're running already 40 minutes behind.
We're 40 minutes behind, an accident for the truck. This is the busiest day of all of our days.
I don't know how we're gonna get through today.
There'll be a way, though.
Oh, we'll find a way, because as I said, if we can unspool, untangle 100 feet of film in the dark, complete darkness, the two of us in a bathroom, we can figure this out too. Now we've got people help us to help figure this out.
Yep.
So we'll check in again maybe later. We'll have better news, but so far this has been a very eventful morning. Kind of like that of my nightmares a little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there's a worse way to start a shoot than to have a car accident. So
I mean, it could be like cars totaled,
right.
or someone gets completely boom, like, and there's injuries. Like, no one's injured. It's just, yeah, fender bender.
Yeah. So we'll just look.
Well, we're arriving to our first set. So
Here we go.
Here we go. I'm gonna forever remember my first day shooting on film. We wrecked a van.
We had to just move on. We were like, okay, this is something that's gonna have to be figured out at some point, but let's not think about it right now because we have so much to get. And Travis was the man. He just kind of expressed to the team, let's not worry about this right now. Let's just work on the film. Let's just worry about what we have to get. And so we just kind of moved on. We just kind of picked up. We got the grip truck unloaded. We got everything situated, and we started getting ready for that first shot.
Another day or whatever.
I'll bring one. I have like, I have a navy, I have a red.
Red's kind of like I see. Navy, or not, sorry, maroon, red, brown, orange maybe.
I'll bring them.
Throwing a shot where we swap it out. We've got multiple, one's gal.
Something a little more
presentable.
like a tool.
Could you spot me when I'm just doing the moves? Because I have my eye.
We had essentially 2 units that day. We had the river scenes that we were going to shoot that day, of him gold panning and him kind of just throughout the days of this film. He was going to be at the river. And then we had the campsite where we had to set up and have later that evening.
I can see you with my microphone.
Another huge setback. Generators failing. Got out of the location late. We got the accident that slowed us up a little bit more. And now we had our generators. And we didn't have just one. I think we had 3 fail on us.
A couple weeks before the film started, we ordered the film. We were getting 250D and 500T stock. That film stock had never come in before we needed to go up to Montana. So we thought it was going to come in the next couple of days. Tanner had someone that could run it up to us, but luckily he got his hands on that free stock from Kodak, and we just took whatever it was and happened to be 200T. 200T is a beautiful stock. I believe the majority of There Will Be Blood was shot on 200 tungsten. It was something I was really excited to use, but it wasn't what we initially planned for. We were anticipating to be using 500 tungsten. 500T is really, an extra stop of light that you're working with. 200 tungsten is a lot of a slower film stock. And our camera didn't even have that fast of a lens. We were dealing with a T2.9 lens, which is, not the most open lens, and you're dealing with a pretty low ASA film stock. Initially, I'm thinking, well, we're outside, we're exteriors this entire time. I think that's gonna be okay. My initial plan was to shoot a lot of the film around a T4, but we got in there and we started getting those light readings, and it was dark in there. It was super dark. And the first day was actually pretty overcast and cloudy. So when we started getting readings, we were really underexposed, and there wasn't really anything else we could do because we had pretty slow glass and really low film stock. And you don't really realize just how slow 200 ISO is until you can't bump it up any further. Like, you're stuck at that rating. And so, especially that the generator wasn't working, that we just had to try to pump as much light as we could while still keeping good contrast levels. So that first shot, we really just used negative fill. That was really all that we could alter with the scene. I got on the Dana Dolly. I looked over at Tanner. We shared a look together. Like, here we go. Let's see what this next 4 days is gonna be like.
Pretty quick. Pretty quick how it usually is. I do think that you could slow your pace down here. All right, we're about to do the first take of this. We're way behind, but we're ready to go. I'm so happy. Do we have any white tape?
Problem after problem after problem.
Okay, dude.
Welcome to day 1. Every time.
We'll do the close-up of your hand in the water, and then we'll just try it. I'm going to go work on generators for the 5 minutes. 10 minutes.
Done.
So, yeah, we need to get a shot of the hand, right? Still in the water. And there's like, or just cut the hand.
I mean, if you're in the same setup, sure, I'll give you the hand. That's fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this one then. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Here, you want me on generator or here?
It's all the anticipation, Like, when we get behind them, we're probably going, whoa, we're going to do this, we got to move,
Yeah.
So.
But we got the shot set up. we were ready to go. I remember that kind of feeling with everyone. I looked over at Tanner. We kind of shared a look like, here we go. Let's see what this next 4 days is going to be like.
And action, he calls it, and I'm just kind of watching on the monitor on this one, and it was magical. It was so cool to watch it, Once we called cut, we had this like exhale almost. The whole crew did. The funny part is that Dave, of all people, our actor, he had like a huge, it's almost like he was holding his breath for that full take. And I came over, I shouted, and I was super excited. And as I talked to him, he was like trembling almost, and just like, oh, I can't believe that we did that. And I was like, Dave, dude, you've been on some pretty big productions. You've been on some pretty big sets. This one's making you nervous? Our little tiny crew and this little thing? And he just told me, he says the reason is like, yeah, this feels so different doing this on film. He knows we have limited takes. He knows we're trying to shoot everything on film. For him as an actor, the stakes are pretty high to perform and to get it right in camera, maybe with a rehearsal or two, obviously, but the pressure was really, I could just feel it on his shoulders at that moment. And I think he just felt like to get the first one done and to have it call cut and us all celebrate and be excited about it, he felt really relieved of like, whoa, that was a rush. It was a total rush for him. And it was a rush for all of us.
Yeah, because okay, make it close enough. Yeah, so we're just going to do like medium. I might change the zoom. You're good right there, yeah? A little lower. Right there, great. Would you already move it? And you guys can get it off? Probably, so Jordan, probably over there. Derek, one take, right? Just both actions. Yeah. I'll make a note here. Yeah. Crossing. Yeah. You can take the frame over to him if you need it. You want to take it over to you? I'm fine watching him here. And then, Tanner. Yeah. We'll just have him continue the motion, and Alex can keep moving up and down. So Dave, once you're panning, just keep panning till we tell you to stop. We're going to be moving the camera. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Okay, pictures up. Pictures up, everyone. Pictures up. Sounds good. All right. Sound of speeding, camera. Slating. Slate. Team 3, shot 2, take 1. And action. All right, let's do the pan. Moving on to pan. Nope, it's continuation. Right on set. Later on, I think I'll take it off probably. Okay. I think I'll take it off. Yeah, and then, yeah, it's fun. We're two shots in. We're like halfway through the day, so. Yeah, we are. Great. That's way cool.
To be honest, when we started, I was a little rattled. I think Derek sensed that in me, even though he was an AD, assistant director. He kind of stepped in to like call. He kind of like ran the ship, so to speak. For some reason, for me, I just felt like I was not in the groove yet. I was still kind of rattled from the accident we had earlier that morning, and we had a lot of stresses happening in the generators. It's almost like first game nerves. The other thing too is like the most recent draft of the script, there were some things that were added and changed to the story that I had not been married to in my mind, and I was still kind of attached to old versions of the script, so I didn't have enough prep as well. Like what we were shooting that day, I felt like I wasn't wrapped around it. So I had to constantly turn to Derek throughout the entire day of like, hey, what is this scene we're shooting? Hey, I know I'm directing, but what are we doing on this? What's this part again? I feel kind of embarrassed doing that. I don't get stage fright. I'm a performer myself. I don't have a problem talking to people, but for day one, I was a little rattled, and it took me a little bit of time before I finally kind of got that feeling. The fire kind of started going, and I kind of started feeling the excitement and the passion and how much fun it was, and really getting into my role as director for this film.
All right, tell me about this experience so far, being on film.
Yeah, okay, so when we started shooting, I just felt this immense sort of adrenaline rush. I've never shot on actual film before, so to have that experience, mind-blowing. I felt like a kid in a candy store, and also just accepting the imperfections of it and going, who cares? Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And running, such a rush. I dig it. Oh, someone's shoe.
Can we get a... That's kind of the idea, is he's in this pocket, right? Hey, Tim, do you have that monitor? Grab it, we can kind of play with it for a second.
One of the things that's tough when it comes to shooting on film is you don't know what you're getting in the can really at first. People kind of ask, hey, wait a minute, I thought you couldn't see what you're shooting because you're shooting on film. What's that monitor you have there? You have a digital wireless monitor. It's called video tap. Just about every film camera since, I want to say like the 80s, or the larger cameras have video taps, where you're able to actually have a little video camera inside the actual camera, looking and peering through the film gate, so seeing the same thing that the eyepiece that you're looking through sees, and then output that video feed like you would with any other video camera. What is a video tap for? It's not for lighting. It's not for monitoring your exposure levels or your false colors. Your video tap just kind of auto exposes when you're opening and closing the iris, right? You cannot judge exposure. You cannot judge how the look is. I mean, you can kind of see like the way the light's falling naturally, but you got to meter everything. That's what that video tap is you'll see me walking around with, and it was extremely helpful to have as a director, and with our producers there, and with Derek there. We could have more eyeballs on the takes, besides just who was operating, so we could all see the frame. I could watch it. I could watch performance on that. That's what you see throughout all the behind the scenes when we have this little monitor running around. It isn't a digital camera. It is a film camera, but we have a video tap in it.
So my idea was like this big kind of line like that. Okay, hey Tanner, did you see the shot? Do you want to be quieter or do you want to be here? This is during the montage, right? What if we do a zoom, like a creep, because it's kind of this montage moment, right? Or we're kind of seeing a lot. Okay, how about we just do it one take? We'll hold it, and then I'll start doing it.
Okay, picture is up, everybody. Picture is up.
Yes.
Yeah, and Tanner, context for this scene is montage.
Yeah, okay.
Just gonna do that.
I know, we gotta give you some skill.
Yeah.
I'll give you some more.
Okay.
There we go. That's what
Alright.
Yeah. Can you get your hands like wet and like dirty? Yeah, we clear? Frame-wise? Yeah. Alright, thank you, brother. Alright, Tanner, are we ready? Oh yeah, we're ready, let's roll. Okay, pictures up. Let's get straight in.
Okay, so I'm 3 minutes in. I'm still rolling.
And camera set. Okay, split. 221, stop one, take one. And action. Alright, so zoom. Put some more in your thing, Dave. Let's take your hat off, Dave, and put it to the side.
Take that big rock out. Yeah. There you go.
Push in, push in, push in.
Alright.
Alright, cut. Cut! So we could do, I don't know if it's a 2 insert cut, we have one after the other,
Because you did an insert of the water, and it was just his hands.
Just the hands, boom, the was off.
Yeah, so what you probably need to do is like at least
A profile of him.
A profile of him is kind of like, and then he kind of pulls out the journal.
Do you want to have? Do you want to have? Does he find flowers there at that side profile maybe, and then we do?
I think the insert's the only way you're gonna see flowers.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just have the insert for both flowers on the diagram.
Yeah, flowers and diagrams, same insert.
Yeah. Same
and then you need your wider one. So pick which one you want to set up for first.
Yeah, Alex, we're thinking of 3 shots right now. Kind of like, we're thinking like maybe doing a profile from watching the face. Here's what I think we could do. What if we did it all from behind? Woohoo! The sun is out.
How fast is this
running? 2.8. We're just on a really low ASA stock on this one, so 200 T. We're getting through it. We're getting through it all.
Amazing. I thought you were just giving Vinny high fives.
You can do that.
It's like,
I would say, why don't you take your drill out? We'll just start, remember right here. We'll just start from you pulling it up and flipping it up. Essentially, it's going to
I would say, as far as working with an actor, working with Dave, it was a lot of stop and go. We didn't have a lot of time to kind of just figure it out and be experimental, especially when we were already behind schedule by multiple hours, you know. So I think my first day was exciting. It was fun, but I also felt a little bit of like, I don't know. It's like you're so rush. You have 1,000 things in your head. You're trying to be kind of like not say it quickly, and then you talk about it, and he's like, so just a little more slower on the pace. And then you kind of go, yeah, that's what I mean. You know, you kind of like an idiot. You're like, that's all I need to say. And props to Dave. He's super professional. He's very friendly and a great dude. It was fun working with him. I had a great time. I felt great about our kind of synergy back and forth. But I think he was like an overdrive because it was just like we had so many shots to crank through and so many blockings, and very indie. It was very go guerrilla. We're just gonna stick the camera there, we're gonna shoot, okay, go. You know, before the light goes out. That part of the chaos was exciting and it was fun, but it also kind of made me feel a little bad for my actor, my lead, and that's the person I need to protect the most. But sometimes I just kind of wish I could have been more attentive to him and just work with him the most.
What are you thinking, Ricky?
Nothing. Just hoping that nothing is going wrong. All right, picture is up. Let's get sound. Sound speeding camera. Shutter speed. Slate. Insert 5 mark. Set. And action. What's gonna do that? Cut there. That's end of the reel. End of reel. That's a cut. End of our first reel.
After I think the first 3 or 4 hours of filming on day one, we had already run out of our first roll. And that was really stressful because I realized we're going to run through this a lot faster than I thought. I had done like calculations in my head and like, okay, well, the film's this long. We have this sort of shooting ratio. It went so fast. And every little second that you're sitting there and you're rolling, that film's running through and you can't get it back. And I was like, we have a film that's like a 20-page script and we already are 1/5 of the way out of our media. You know, we're already 1/5 of the way out of our film. That was a very intense feeling. I think we all looked at each other and we thought, okay, we need to really try and conserve as much as we can. And that was sort of the biggest worry that was on my mind was I want to make sure that we can get this film as much as possible on film.
Okay, let's do take, guys.
All right, picture is up.
Are you gonna pan with him if he stands up? Do you want me? Yeah, let's try it.
Waiting on sound.
You wanna do rehearsal? Just check it? Hey, let's do rehearsal real quick. We're gonna try and pan up as we
Okay,
can.
let's do one more rehearsal and action on rehearsal.
Okay, ready? And action. Snap. Yeah. Is that too much? I think we're shooting it right now it's like a one-shot thing. He would probably just walk out of frame, you know, or something like that. But I mean, he stands up. It set up as two shots. So we have a second shot seeing his face after. Is that right, Derek? We have 2 shots.
Get an insert of his hands going into the water now.
But there's no shot after this, though. Chronologically, after he stands up. It's
Chronologically, after he stands up, it cuts to him scrambling up the bank.
I'll kill this.
I think
speed. Slate.
Scene 29, shot 1, take 1.
Action. Snap. And stand. Cut.
That looks so good.
I think it looked good.
On every other project Alex and I did together, we're like side by side the whole time. And this project, we talked a lot less than I thought we would day one. And we'd come together, we'd talk about the scene, we'd talk about the setup. He'd go to his team, I'd go to the AD or to my actor, and we'd like do our own little bits. And we'd come, and we'd shoot together, and we'd like look. Sometimes we'd even talk after the take was done. We'd just look. And he'd give me a nod. And I'd give the everyone else a nod, like let's move on.
A little more like. It's more like this. No, that is a good shot to show that it's like he's locked in. So we want to see. Because we're gonna see him kind of like walking on past it, but we're still on the next as he walks away. So that's a cut. So we'll start from you again, seeing her. And then the way you said, I actually really liked it. Maybe you can just try saying a little more, a little clearer. Maybe.
More pronounced.
Yeah, a little more pronounced. Yeah, you just flip a little bit more. Look, like we can be pretty quick on our piece here for insert shots of that. We're gonna be showing you.
You're tired, huh? Ricky, are you tired?
I'm not tired.
Oh, you're not tired? Are you tired?
The executive's on it's like,
How late were you up last night?
3 a.m. Good micro adjustments. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I would say get like. We did this already.
We did, but not from the point of view of the drink. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing.
Oh, we're doing the same pickup then. Oh, okay. I'm like, we've done this already. Am I in a time loop now?
Yeah. See? Here we are.
We're getting crazy.
Welcome
losing our
to
own
my
minds.
nightmare. Okay.
We're just like losing our minds.
It's wild stuff, isn't it?
All right, we're getting closer to the end of our day today. It's been fun, a little crazy. A lot of things have happened, but I wanted to give you a bit of a tour of our set here and show you what we're all about. All right, here we are. We just got done shooting all of our chest shots, a lot of our shots over here. Now we're looking at getting a wide for this campsite. Lighting grip team, producer team over here. Here's the crew.
Making sure you get your time.
You know, surprisingly dark in this forest, so.
Just because I'm a little worried about that, is it okay? Maybe
Take it off.
finding a way.
I think. Hey, I don't need no trouble.
I'll find a way,
you're being
yeah.
respectful as you enter this campsite the first time.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel, Dave?
I mean, no trouble.
Despite all the setbacks and all the horrifically, scary things that could happen on a set that you're like, don't want to have happen for your first date kind of doing this, everybody on set was incredible and professional and friendly and fun and had a great time. And no matter what we were facing, we pressed forward. We kept putting our heads down and made things happen. It was so awesome to see that everyone come together and try to make the day finish strong. We called wrap and could breathe a little bit more, but immediately I felt the feeling of we have to do this 3 more days and we have to make ground.
We ran out of time, And so that was this moment of, okay, well, we have this low film stock, and it does kind of affect other aspects of this film because we now needed to move things around so that we could get that in the other days. So we had to squeeze an extra scene into the other days, which meant the other scenes we had to move even quicker, which I already felt like we had been moving way too fast to start the day. And so we had a long journey ahead of us after that.
We had significant ground to make up in this film. Of those 28 shots, I think we had like 5 or 6 that we had to shoot still. How'd you feel today went though, Dave?
Man, it was beautiful. It was a little chilly, but throughout the entire day, it was just this exciting sort of rush of not knowing what was going to happen and how to make all of these constraints that we have work. But to be at the end of the day, I'm really proud of everybody, and I'm kind of in awe seeing how fast we went and how efficient and how kind everybody is. I think that's the big thing, is like everybody's good at their jobs here, but the kindness is what matters to me. So to see that, A+, baby.
This guy hasn't been stressing you out too much, right?
A-, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this day did not go out as planned.
No,
right? I mean,
no, it didn't.
We had some major mishaps, things happening, you know?
We did. And yeah, there were moments where even I got my head, but at the same time, that's part of the process where it's this kind of volatile, nebulous thing that you're trying to sometimes harness in a bottle and then say, hey, let's make it work. But the miracle is that we got so much done today, and to have that and to be around people that love creating, I mean, what a lucky job.
Yeah, it's fun. We had some serious things where I was like, there's no way we're getting through today.
So true.
Like, there's no way we can get this through. But yeah, I just try to keep positive, you know. I think everyone was very, like you said, very kind, very positive, very understanding. No one getting after each other, and it just super good. I think it was pretty good culture.
I agree.
You've been on a lot more sets than I've been on, but I felt like it was pretty good.
It's great set culture.
Good.
Tanner's just an amazing director. Really, really good at doing interviews and doing the close-ups. Really good.
Thanks, Dave. We're gonna catch you tomorrow.
Later on, friends.
Yeah, so everyone that had been there before were like, hey, we did a lot. There was a lot to celebrate. Like, amazing what we got done, amazing what we did. But in my mind, I was still like, I still had that worry that we were gonna fall short. We weren't gonna get it done to the end. When we got to day 4, when the sun went down and we were finished and we had to be, wrap. That was definitely my mind. The other obstacle we're putting on ourselves is, we had 55 minutes of film, 2,000 feet, which equates to about 55 minutes, so a little under an hour. We had 2 rolls loaded in magazines, and just in case. We would have been happy if we had not shot through the first roll yet. And at this point in time, we had shot through like 1.5 rolls, maybe a little less than a half. It was like 1 1/3 maybe rolls. We had 19 minutes of our 55 minutes. Okay, now not only are we supposed to move faster and add more to our schedule, but we also have to conserve our film. We also have to do less takes. We do the, slating, and we're rolling camera for all that. We gotta be quicker. We have to move like within a few seconds and just go fast so we don't burn through all of our film. So just, there's just these things of pressure that are stacking up on us. Maybe we were gonna have to figure out some things drastically if we were gonna make this to the end. As Alex and I looked at each other, and we even said it when we had that car accident. If we can unspool 100 feet of film in complete darkness in that dark bathroom we did in that little LA Airbnb and salvage that film, then we could do anything. So we had that same sentiment going about. That's kind of good self-talk to allow us to keep going positively and move forward, and to make adjustments and have every team member come through and say, how can we do this better and be stronger and go faster and make this film make it to the finish line. That's roughly how the day went. It was a really difficult day. It was extremely fun and exciting, and there was this camaraderie on our whole team, and I knew we'd picked the right people to be on the set, to be there to help tell this story, and I was very excited to get to the next day, to see what we could do better, but also kind of dreading it at the same time, because we had to do it all over again the next day.
I went away from it feeling pretty encouraged. Like, we survived. We got the shots for the most part that we needed. And I was excited to see what we could build off of with the second day and the third day and the fourth day. That was exciting, and we had a lot to come.
Looking forward to share with you guys day 2 of shooting Lone Mountain, shooting a short film on film.